Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about how to flirt with your crush. So flirting is kind of like a really subtle kind of, I would say, humor. With flirtation, it's very much like a dance. It's quite like an art. Like if you can't come on too strong basically when you're flirting, but you also must always have this underlying kind of chemistry with that person. And sometimes it's just not there. So you could start flirting with someone who you have a crush on, and yet it just doesn't gel. And the reason why it doesn't gel is because you're probably not compatible. So, flirting is, a very fun thing to do, but also I wouldn't stay too long in the flirting time period with your crush. If you really, really like your crush, then you need to, get on with it basically and ask them out and ask them when they're available to date you. But basically, flirting is basically just like really good humor. So you just got to be really comfortable, firstly, with yourself. You got to be able to have a laugh. You got to be able to joke. And basically, it's sort of just that, really. Like, it's being able to have that laugh with the person that you have a crush on. Being able to have, like, these little inside jokes. If you want to kind of test a little bit, then maybe when you're joking with your crush, you kind of, tap them on the arm, or you might give them a little poke as you walk by them or something like that. Or you may say something funny to them as you walk past them, and seeing how they basically respond to that kind of thing. Because if you're, laughing and you reach out and like just poke her arm or something, or his arm, or you give him a little tiny little push, a little flirtatious push and that kind of thing, if they like you and they flirt back, they're going to kind of do the same kind of thing. So they'll give you a little push or a little tap or a little poke or something, So, but you got to kind of be very attuned to how the other person is responding, so how your crush is responding. Because you might be trying to flirt with them and you're getting like no response out of them whatsoever, at least not the response that you're hoping for. So with those kinds of people, that kind of crush, you need to kind of let it go, and perhaps there's nothing really romantic going on between you two. But the people that, you have good chemistry with, basically, it'll be very, very easy. Flirting will be effortless. So basically, you need to kind of figure out, how difficult is it for me to flirt with this person? Because if it's difficult to flirt and have a laugh and have a joke and have a tease with them, then it's probably unlikely that they like you in that way. But people who are interested in you, a crush that does like you, that does find you attractive, will flirt back with you. Obviously, it depends also on how shy they are, because if they're shy, then it may take them a while to warm up to you. And if you are dealing with a shy person, then basically the best way for you to help someone else come out of their shell is if you come out of your shell. The best way to make someone be themselves around you is if you're yourself around them. And that's something that I found when I was, this is obviously kind of like a different kind of example, but this is something I found when I started secondary school. So when I was about 11, 12, age is about 11 or 12. And basically when I was at primary school, so before that age, I was really, really shy and I didn't really speak to anybody. But when I got into secondary school and I was about 11 years old or 12 years old, I had a friend who was really extroverted. I made friends with this new girl who was really, really extroverted. And because she was really extroverted and she was herself around me, then I instantly became more myself and was being more playful and more funny as well. And that's kind of how you need to deal with shy people. Because, what kind of worked was the fact that this girl who I made friends with had been a popular kid back in her school, whereas I was kind of like had no friends back in my school. But because we met and we kind of like met each other at the right time, she was able to help me come out of my shell, and it really, really helped me. That's kind of like how you need to deal with shy girls, shy crushes that you may have. Just be yourself, be funny, be humorous, be playful, and just be just be yourself, and don't be just be yourself, and then that will allow her to be herself. Because if you are not doing that and you're being shy and awkward, then that person's going to be shy and awkward as well. So you need to kind of lead the interaction. So it may take a while to get a shy person out of their shell, but usually if you're yourself and you're out of your shell, then the other person is going to come out of their shell as well. So obviously it depends on that. So it depends on how shy they are. If they're really shy, it may take them a while to warm up to you so they can flirt with you and that kind of thing. But usually, if you're dealing with someone who isn't shy, or they're just on a regular shy level, they're not like really, really super shy, but they're mostly extroverted, or they're kind of like somewhere in the middle, it shouldn't take much to get them to flirt back with you if they're interested in you. But if it takes a long time and this person's extroverted, perhaps you've even seen them flirt with other people, then the issue is compatibility. You're into them, they're not into you, right? So, when you get that resistance and they're not flirting back with you, or at least they're not flirting back with you, let's say like 90% of the time, then you need to let it go. And you need to let them go, because obviously for whatever reason it's not working out. But the best way really to get someone to, to get the ball rolling so you can start, getting to that relationship, because no doubt if you have a crush on someone, you want to be with them, you want to be in a relationship with them, you want to be dating them, you want to be holding hands, the whole enchilada, right? If you want to be doing that, then you need to ask them out. You just need to approach them and say, hey, I think you're really cute. When are you available to hang out for a drink? When are you available to hang out? Because I'd really love to get to know you better. And that's all you need to say. And then wait for them to say when they're available. And if they like you, they'll give you the times when they're available. And if they don't, they're just going to be like, no, thank you. Or they'll come up with an excuse, or they'll flake on you. But a girl or a guy that likes you will say yes to going out with you, and they'll show up. They'll be enthusiastic about it, basically. So you shouldn't have to do that much flirting with someone in order to get the ball rolling and that kind of thing. So don't spend too long in the flirtation process where you're kind of just being playful and flirty with them. Get to the point, because you don't want to be wasting your time pining and thinking about a crush. That's going to lead nowhere. And you kind of just build it up in your head, and he kind of, in a way, sometimes he can drive you crazy a little bit if you're pining after someone for a long time, because your emotions are going to get really, really deep. You're going to get, you basically going to get really attached to someone if you spend a lot of time just crushing on them and not actually doing anything about it. You need to get on with it. You need to get on with the process. You need to ask them out. Be brave, be bold. You can do it. The worst thing that could happen is they say no. They're not going to hurt you, okay? You're not going to, it's not a life-threatening situation. It's a nervous situation, and obviously it's a lot easier said than done still, obviously. But, you have to do it at some point, right? You have to get on with it. And that's the best way to know, basically, if your crush actually likes you back as well. If you ask them out on a date. And if they like you, they will say yes. But, with things like flirting, try not to take it too seriously. Try not to be too serious with it. Try not to overthink it too much as well. Try not to be so much in your head. Sometimes a great starter of flirtation is, just general, having a nice conversation and having a fun conversation, having a positive conversation. So you don't have to go straight in like trying to flirt with them or anything like that. Sometimes it's best to just lead with a good conversation, or a fun conversation, an exciting conversation. And then flirtation, is much more easier after that, because, you've established that. If you go straight in with flirting, it can seem a little bit off. So the best thing to do is to start off with just a good conversation with the person that you're into, and having a really good time where you're like both really into the conversation. And basically the way that you know that is, if you're having a good conversation, is if you're both really excited about what you're talking about. So it could be like, if they're into the same kind of stuff as you, perhaps they're really excited about the same kind of movie that is coming out soon, or it could be about a video game, or it could be about a book, or it could be about a certain set of, like a TV series or something, and you're just discussing it, and they get really excited about it, and you're really excited about it because you're both into it. And then when you're having one of those kind of like really like exciting conversations, so much then easier to like be flirtatious and to like, be more fun and playful with each other. And if that's going well, and you think, you two are really gelling really well, then ask her out or him out. That's when you should start doing that kind of thing, because that's a really good indicator basically that you two really like each other, is if you're having that really good bonding time where you're both into the same kind of stuff and you're having a great conversation about it. So, because being flirtation, being flirty, there's so many different ways you can really do it, and it's because it's so subtle, it's kind of hard for me to kind of like pinpoint, certain little things. Like I can't give you like a list of bullet points basically on, you know, how to flirt necessarily, because it is such an underlying thing, and it depends so much on your mood, on their mood, and it also depends so much on their kind of personality, because not everything is going to work for every person that you flirt with. So it's better to just go from that good conversation standpoint where you're both excited and happy talking to each other and you're bonding. That's is when it's so much easier to be flirtatious, where you can like reach out and touch them and give little subtle hints, you know, kind of being a bit more like sneaky with them, and you know, saying, you know, things that might be a tiny bit risque, you know, those kind of, it's much easier to go into that if you're already got a good little bond going from you both getting excited over the same kind of subjects. So that's kind of like my advice on, you know, how to flirt with your crush, you know. But like I said, don't stay in the flirtation process for too long, because you want to know basically for sure if this girl or guy is into you. And the best way you can do that is if you actually ask them out to meet up with them for a drink on a date where it's just going to be you two. Because then that's going to give you more of an indication of if they like you or not. Because if they don't like you, then they won't do that. It just makes sense, right? It makes sense that someone that doesn't like you will not meet you out on a date. But someone who does like you will meet you out. There's no reason why a person that does like you wouldn't meet you out on a date, basically. So that's my advice on that. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like help with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.